Calling the zoning hearing board meeting for Lower Makefield Township for February 21st, 2023 to order. Okay, the first appeal that is up is Appeal 23-1995. So if you want to get sworn in, if that's appropriate here. And okay, and Adam will read the exhibits in.
Right, since we have a few new ones and since you have a nice booklet for us, I'll make it easy and I'll go with yours and then I'll add my others at the end. So we'll have the deed as A1, the preliminary subdivision plan approval letter from Hill Wallach dated July 21st of 2022 as A2, CV as Mark Havers as A3, the aerial photo plan last revised December 28th, 2022 as A4, existing features plan last revised November 11th, 2022 is A5, the record plan last revised November 11th, 2022 as A6, the existing features notes last revised December 28th, 2022 is A7, and we will have the application as A8. And the proof of publication will be B1, proof of posting B2, and B3 notice to the neighbors.
Oh, one other thing as it relates to both appeals here, there's only 4 members of the board here and majority is required to pass. So you'll need 3 of us to affirm if that's the case. Yep. Okay, go ahead and present.
I was just explaining the composition of the board tonight and that there's 4 members and 2-2 would be a denial.
Yep. I think that's what I said. I remember. Sorry for being a little late with that, but yes.
Good evening, Julie Bonds-Breckelson from the law firm of Eastburn and Gray here tonight on behalf of the applicant 1566 LLC, which is the legal owner of the properties located at 1472 and 1566 Newtown Yardley Road and 1069 Creamery Road. The properties are located in the R1 residential low density district. The total site area is just about 21.5 acres. And existing conditions are that the properties consist of actually 4 tax parcels. So there are 4 contiguous parcels. There are 3 single family dwellings on the property along with other residential structures. And then there is significant areas of natural resources, and those natural resources include wetlands, wetland buffer, woodlands, and steep slope areas. So what is being proposed is the subdivision of this property into 6 single-family dwelling lots, plus an existing 7th lot with a single-family dwelling to remain. 2 of the existing single-family residences will be demolished. So what we're requesting tonight are variances, or in the alternative, de minimis variances, because I think this is a case for a de minimis variance from sections 200-51B, 4B, and D, natural resource protection requirements, wetlands or waters of the Commonwealth, and that's to permit a minor disturbance of 3.2% of the wetlands on proposed lots 2, 3, 5, and 6, and disturbance of 3.2% of the wetland buffer areas on proposed lots 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's in order to install 2 sanitary sewer force mains necessary to provide public sewer service to lots 5 and 6. So again, I mentioned a de minimis variance. If you're so inclined to grant a de minimis variance, that doctrine states that where there's just a minor deviation from the dimensional requirements of the zoning ordinance and rigid compliance of the ordinance is not necessary in order to protect public policy concerns, you can grant what's called a de minimis variance. So it's a much lesser quantum of proof and standard than your traditional variances. So that's also being requested this evening in the alternative to a regular variance. Your solicitor took the liberty of reading the tabs in the exhibit booklets. Those are now A1 through A7, so I will not repeat those. I do want to note that in tab 2, the preliminary subdivision plan approval letter dated July 21st, 2022 from the township solicitor, Hill Wallach LLP, is included as an exhibit. So as you are aware from that letter, this plan has already received preliminary subdivision plan approval. And part of that letter, as you can see on page, I think it's page 2 or 3 of that letter, page 2 of that letter, it is noted and recognized that these variances that we're seeking this evening are required. So that preliminary subdivision plan approval was granted subject to those variance requests. So with that, I will present my first and only witness, Mark Havers. Mark, could you introduce yourself to the board?
Yes, I'm Mark Havers. I'm a project engineer with Pickering Courts in Somerset.
And you're a professional civil engineer,
Yes, I am.
and you're licensed in the state of Pennsylvania?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been so licensed?
20 years.
And you stated your place of business is,
Pickering Courts in Somerset in Newtown.
and what is your educational background?
I have 2 bachelor's degrees, one from Penn State and one from Pitt. One's in landscape contracting, the other's in civil engineering.
And so briefly, what's your professional background?
I've worked in the land development, side of civil engineering for over 25 years, doing various site plans, subdivision work, land development work.
And have you testified as an expert previously
Yes, before the zoning hearing board here as well.
in Lower Makefield?
Correct.
And you were accepted as an expert in civil engineering?
Yes,
And is a true and correct copy of your CV included as A3?
yes, it is.
I would offer Mark as an expert in civil engineering.
No objection.
Thank you. Mark, you were engaged by the applicant with regard to this project, is that correct?
Yes,
And what was the scope of that engagement?
to prepare subdivision plans for the approximately 22 acre parcel.
And in preparing those plans, did you review the township ordinances?
Yes, we did. Part of that review identified these 2 items of relief that we're here tonight for, seeking tonight.
And did you also visit the property? Have you been to the site?
Yes, multiple times. In fact, once with township staff and the township planning commission to review the subdivision plans.
Okay, so let's start with describing the existing property conditions, and please use tabs A4 and 5 of the booklet, which are the aerial photo plan and the existing features plan.
You want to put number 1 up, Jim? The property, as Von Speckelson noted, it's 4 parcels. 1 parcel has frontage on Yardley Newtown Road or Route 332. One of the properties, actually 2 of the properties, have frontage on Creamery Road. And then in the rear, Buck Creek Drive dead ends into the property. The parcel has 3 existing homes on it. 2 of those homes will be removed with this project, demolished. There is an existing channel drainage way that runs approximately bisects the property. On lot D, as shown in the exhibit, the existing house there will remain. That lot will be expanded and become larger. The proposed subdivision will mainly be on lots A and B, as shown here.
And the zoning district?
Parcels, all 4 parcels, as well as the surrounding parcels, are all zoned R1, low density residential.
Okay, and are there developmental constraints, unique features of this property?
There are with the various restrictions, natural resource restrictions, the bisecting of the property by the stream corridor or the channel. On one side, as you can see on parcel D, there's a large pond, which is actually part of a stream that comes through. All sort of limit where you can do any development work. We laid out the subdivision to sort of place the homes in areas that are open areas within the wooded areas. We're also using the two existing homes to sort of place homes in those areas as well.
And there's wetlands on the property, wetland buffer areas, correct?
Correct. Along the stream corridor or the drainage way, there's wetlands on either side of that, and then a buffer, a township wetland buffer on either side of that as well.
And in addition, there are woodlands and steep slopes on these properties as well, correct?
That's correct. As you can possibly see from the aerial, the majority of the lot is wooded. Lot D is generally the wooded areas is well maintained. It's not brushy. Same with lot C. Parcel A to the rear or to the north is a wooded parcel that's a lot of underbrush, heavy, thick underbrush.
And this property is located within the sanitary sewer district, correct?
Yes, it's I believe it's District 3, the township.
But there are no public sewer connections within close proximity to the property, correct?
There's a public sewer that comes dead ends on Buck Creek Drive. That's where we're proposing to connect. The next closest public sewer is approximately 1,000 feet away down Yardley Newtown Road towards Yardley, across Buck Creek on the other side of the stream.
And would you also say these properties are irregularly shaped as well?
Yes. Again, they were sort of fit in amongst open areas in the woodlands.
Okay, so let's turn to the proposed subdivision. And if you could use A6, which is the record plan, can you please describe in detail the proposed subdivision?
Maybe easiest spot. Yes, as I mentioned, this is Yardley Newtown Road, Creamy Road. There's currently an existing home here, an existing home in this area. This area is a wooded area. There'll be 4 lots serviced off of Buck Creek Drive, 2 lots, 1 lot fronting on Yardley Newtown Road, and 1 lot fronting on Creamy Road. This sort of hatched area is part of the existing house that will remain, and this will be the balance of their lot then.
And do the proposed subdivided lots meet all of the bulk area and dimensional requirements of the zoning ordinance?
They do, yes.
So the only variances required are to permit the minor disturbance of the wetlands and the wetland buffer areas, and that's for the installation of the sewer main, correct?
Yes,
And you heard me describe the preliminary subdivision plan approval letter that was received from the township. Can you confirm that this project has received preliminary plan approval?
yes, it has.
And again, it's subject to obtaining these variances that we're requesting this evening, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so let's discuss the variances that we're requesting. And you can use the record plan at tab 6 of the exhibit booklet to show the area, the wetlands and the wetland buffers.
The existing wetlands follows, as I said, the drainage way that runs approximately bisects the property. It carries runoff from the adjacent property in a culvert under Creamy Road and conveys it down to the ponds and to the stream. 2 sanitary sewer laterals, force mains, are connecting lots 5 and 6 over to the main. It's in the Buck Creek extension into Buck Creek Drive. There's the two disturbed areas, the 2 wetland areas, and then the buffer areas on both of those 2 lots for separate connections.
Okay, and what is the total area of the wetlands on the property?
The total wetland area is approximately 76,700 square feet or 0.176 acres.
And what is the percentage and square foot of the area of the wetland disturbance?
It's approximately 260 square feet or 3.2% of the existing wetland area.
And let's do the same calculation for the wetland buffer areas. What is the total area of wetland buffers on the property?
It's approximately 153,000 square feet or 3.5 acres.
And what is the percentage and square footage of the wetland buffer disturbance area?
As well as 3.2% or approximately 4,800 square feet, 3.2% again.
And are these calculations included on the existing features notes at A7 of the exhibit booklet?
They are.
And was that plan sheet included with the subdivision plan submission?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so please explain to the board why these variances are necessary.
The variances are to cross the stream, the drainage way, and the wetlands and associated wetland buffer to provide public sewer to existing homes that are on the opposite side of the existing public sewer. There's two separate crossings because DEP only allows that. Each home has to have its own separate service. There'll be a small 1.25 inch force main line with small pump stations on either lots. And the crossing is just to provide the public sewer to convey it under the stream and over to the existing public sewer.
Is this the minimal disturbance in order to install these sanitary sewer mains?
Yes.
And are there any reasonable alternatives? Is there any way you could avoid this disturbance?
No, to provide public sewer, the alternative way, as I mentioned, is to the east down Newtown Yardley Road. That as well, we'd have to cross a larger stream with likely more impacts to the stream, to the wetlands, to the stream, and to any associated buffers.
And would you, in your opinion, is this a minor deviation of the zoning ordinance requirements?
Yes, yes,
And again, the township is aware of the zoning relief required, correct?
yes, they are.
And is DEP approval required for this disturbance?
Yeah, yes, it is. There'll be a general permit, GP5, which is actually a wetland, a utility crossing of a wetlands. It's an actual permit application. Assuming we gain your approval this evening, shortly thereafter, the general permit application will be submitted to DEP for review and approval.
And does DEP routinely grant these types of permits to allow this crossings?
Yes, yes, they do.
And in your experience, engineering sites that contain wetland and wetland buffers, is it commonplace to locate utility lines and mains within natural resource areas?
It's always tried to be it's attempted to be avoided, but just because of where existing utilities are, it's often not possible. So yes, they do often run through wetlands, across streams, through natural resource areas.
And again, to confirm, this is the minimal disturbance required in order to install these mains.
Yes, that's correct.
No reasonable alternatives.
Correct.
And if this variance is granted, will it in any way alter the essential character of the neighborhood or be detrimental to the public welfare?
No, I think in fact, it'll actually be beneficial. The two existing homes that are there are on existing on-lot systems. There's no known permits for those, so it's likely it's a very old system adjacent to the stream. Those will now be removed. So I guess a potential for pollution entering the stream will be removed.
And in your professional opinion, are these the minimum variances that will afford relief?
Yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, questions from the board?
Mark, you mentioned that if you tried to bring the public sewer to lots 5 and 6 up Yardley Newtown Road, there would be a greater disturbance to a wetlands. I just want to make sure, is that what you said?
There's to get to the public sewer down Yardley Newtown Road, we'd have to cross a larger stream. I'm assuming there's wetlands with the stream, which are generally are. They haven't been delineated, of course, but we would also need relief to just cross through that stream channel. With that stream, there's also a buffer as well.
Okay, so you're more or less eyeballed that the stream's larger, but like you said, you didn't actually delineate it.
We didn't delineate wetlands. The stream is visually.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, it's not a criticism, but
Yeah.
just curious to understand the degree of engineering it was done. That's all. Thank you.
Excuse me, you're going to be demolishing 2 homes. What are the age of those structures?
far as I'm aware, I really don't know. I believe they're from the fifties, but I'm not exactly positive.
Not a problem.
Just a question. You said pump station. Are you putting in two ejectors for one for each,
Correct. Correct.
like an E1 system or something?
Exactly. Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Is there any public comment right now or questions? Is there anybody online? All right, thank you. Well, I will. If no one on the board has any further questions or discussion they would like to do, I believe it'd be time for a motion. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm shocked myself, but I'd like to make a motion to approve appeal number 23-1995 as presented.
a second.
Okay, any comments on the motion? Looks like you really have lucky stars tonight on this. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
I would like to think it's our great presentation.
Mark, honestly, this is a fantastic subdivision plan. I mean, looks like a great plan. A lot of creativity and it's common sense. And this was nice. This was very nice.
Basically, you don't like the back of the napkin stuff.
No,
Actually, our pool people are pretty well trained overall.
Yeah, we beat them up pretty well.
Speaking of pool contractors. Correct.
Hello.
Hello, it's Appeal 23-1996.
Yes.
Okay, can you state your name and be sworn in?
Well, is this the one that they've already approved and that they are leaving, the consultants are leaving the room for already?
Well, we're on Appeal 23-1996, a hydroscape pools Roth Cross at 1517.
Yeah,
Astor
no.
Lane.
I have a comment about the issue that was discussed.
Well, well, the vote has already passed, but you could take a second here if you want.
Okay. And how can I
Need a-
do that?
Well, I mean, the vote's already happened, so right now this is just for your satisfaction. I mean, we did ask for public comment earlier and you didn't step forward, so.
Actually, I've been listening and I didn't hear that request. So I apologize. I'm sorry that I'm late.
Go ahead and say what you want to say.
Ma'am, can you just identify yourself and then be sworn?
Sure.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear testimony about to give will be the truth, so help me God?
Yes, I do.
Your name, ma'am?
Your name? Your
Hello?
name?
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Jacqueline Wagner.
Ma'am, can you please state your address?
Yes, 1063 Buck Creek Circle, Yardley, PA.
What's that? 1063 right there. Yep. Okay, go ahead and make your statement.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that this plan for the sanitary sewer, the variance, it sounds very well thought out, and it really seems like a really sound plan. I think that my concern is that this area of Lower Makefield Township really has a problem with rainwater runoff, and my question to the board is, how is this development going to exacerbate the runoff problem, and what are they going to do about that? My understanding is that the sanitary sewer is exactly that. It's just for sanitary sewer. It's not for runoff. That's my question.
That's correct. And actually, you do not want storm runoff being piped away, because that just increases the rate at which water goes to the river and creates flooding problems elsewhere. But Jim Majewski can speak to what mitigations required with development in the township.
As required for all subdivisions and land developments, stormwater management needs to be provided for all of the proposed runoff that'll be created by the new roads, new houses, driveways. And they actually are required to reduce the runoff to be theoretically less than what currently exists on the property that heads on out. So at the end of the day, they'll be doing on each and every lot within that subdivision. I believe they have a stormwater management system, and they also have a system that's a little bit larger for some of the runoff. So theoretically, the water will be less heading off to the ponds and the stream in this area after development compared to before.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very helpful.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now we will move on to Appeal 23-1996. Or what? Oh, okay. Well, they can, for 20.
Thank
Okay.
you very much. That's very helpful.
We will move on to Appeal 23-1996. We're getting some sort of feedback here. What's going on?
Are you talking? Okay. Hi, my name is Laura Hink Zoda. My husband and I live at 1550 Yardley Newtown Road, and we were curious with the new sewer system being put in, if there was any available, I guess, hookups that the residents would be able to access that live on Newtown Yardley Road.
As the engineer stated, what the state requires is the one connection per house with utilizing the force main. But if somebody else wants to speak more to that here, they can. Go for it.
So are you asking if you can connect in?
Yes, we were curious if that would be a possibility.
Yeah, so the applicant is basically just tying in their systems. I don't believe there's any extension going on. They're utilizing an existing connection on the rear street there at Buck Creek.
Would that be an option if it was connecting that the new homes using the Newtown Yardley Road construction?
They're not connecting to Newtown Yardley Road.
Okay.
Any other questions?
right,
No,
something
I
got-
don't believe so. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Just to be clear here, back in the booth there. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Appeal 23-1996. Is there anybody online for that appeal? Or in? Okay.
Great. Let's do it again. Hey,
Hello.
hello. Yeah, I was here
Well-
for the appeal for the impervious space for 1517 Esther Lane.
Yes. So we need to get you sworn in and then do the exhibits, and maybe you can pull over, or maybe you did just pull over since the bouncing around slowed down.
Well, I stopped 12 times, but people kept commenting, so I'm stopping for officially now. So that's great.
Okay. Why don't you do the exhibits first then, Adam?
Sure. Application will have as A1, the site plans as A2, proof of publication B1, proof of posting B2, and B3, notice to the neighbors.
Sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony you have to give will be the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely.
Can you give me your name? Identify yourself, please.
Nathan Simcox, Hydroscape Pools.
Okay, you can go ahead and present.
Yeah, we're just looking to increase the impervious from, I believe the existing is 22% to relative to 26% on the plan, you know, with the stormwater management infiltration implemented to mitigate the stormwater runoff. And install a fiberglass pool. But basically, yeah, just the impervious here again for compensation.
Jim, was there a submitted system on this here? Was a calculation or not?
Yes, it is on the plan. It's in the lower middle of the sheet. They have the volume control calculations, and the lower left hand of the plans is the impervious surface calculation. Our office has verified those calculations, and the system is sized not only to handle the runoff for the full increase from 22.8% to 26%, but also an additional approximately 2.5%.
Okay, and I see that there. That's the 352 cubic feet provided, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. All right, questions from the board then? I think Nathan's got our system down.
Well, you know, I won't comment. I'm hoping there'll be some kind of change about this system when it comes to impervious, and maybe the simplification of not needing a variance and incorporating stormwater management into the permitting of the project and the building permit, but just implementing that into it and not having to get the variance within a certain reason of a certain percentage overage would be awesome for maybe me and maybe other people, if it made sense.
No, that's a request. That's a different process, but it's a request. Okay, well, with regards to
Just a
this
thought,
particular
just a thought.
Yep. Any questions from the other board members?
I have none.
Jim, to clarify, what's the effective percentage this takes it down to?
Hold on one second. 20.3%.
Thank you.
Just wanted to check my math.
And what's the allowable? 22 or something?
24.
24. So they're
He's
not only
overshooting.
retaining enough for,
20.
Like I said, he has.
pool, but a little bit extra.
He's done a lot of pool
They're
applications.
currently at 22.8, so it'll be half a percentage better than what they're at.
And can I say one more point to that thought? Even though it may not be relevant to, maybe a board meeting thought, but, even that, the idea of when people get pools and things like that and want to add to their impervious, increasing the size of the box and overcompensating for the amount of runoff. If everybody did that, it would probably contribute a lot to the overall, it'd actually be a plus, a plus effect to the situation as opposed to just nullifying it even.
And
'Cause you're
that's
already in
actually
there.
why we have the requirements for stormwater management is that the hope is that it not only resolves localized stormwater issues, but cumulatively, you'll have a greater impact throughout the community.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yep.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, so we will move on to public comment. Is there any comment in the room? Oh, all right, thank you.
Until after we're done.
All right, I guess then we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 23-1996 as submitted.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
All right. You're welcome.
Great night.
Thank you for your
Thank you very-
comments.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Have a good
All right, what's up for the next meeting?
We have no appeals advertised for the next meeting. So if the board were so inclined, you can cancel that meeting. We do have a couple of applications for the subsequent one, I believe on March
It'd be
21st.
March 20th, 21st, you're at 21st, yeah.
Whatever the day is.
21st, yeah.
21st.
No.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to cancel the next meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye,
Aye.
okay. Meeting for March 7th is canceled. All right, next up, there is a discussion item is that there is an upcoming appeal probably on April 3rd, 4th,
Is that? Yeah.
that will require our council and a board member to recuse themselves.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Sorry.
No, so it's, I spoke with Peter about
Yeah.
this and I had recommended that the board retain conflict counsel for the application, which will be filed for a cell phone tower that would be placed on the property of Congregation Bethel, of which we are both members. So again, even though I don't vote, families, lifelong members, founding members, my dad's on the board, and we thought it'd be best if, just in the appearance of impropriety, that you had someone else. So I had recommended Russ Sacco, whose office is in Yardley Borough, very good lawyer. We deal with him a lot with Bristol Township and some other places throughout Bucks to handle that specific appeal. And if the board is so inclined, you could appoint him as conflict counsel for that application.
I am a member of Congregation Bethel and a former board member, and I don't like even the whiff of impropriety, so I would have to recuse myself.
Right, so we need to contact,
I will also ask Jim to make sure that we had any township paperwork that needed to be dealt with. with
I think
regards
all we
to-
would need probably would be the rate sheet, but I will confirm that.
Okay, because we have to try to check with somebody else.
And then,
We need to rate in that.
Yeah, so, so, all right, so who's taking care of getting in touch with them?
Either I can or Adam can. It's up to you.
Say this again.
Who wants to contact Russ Sacco?
Oh, I've already spoken with him because I wanted to make sure that he can handle Tuesday meetings and our timing and all that. So that was no issue. And then, he would get the materials for that application and handle that. I don't know if we're gonna have other ones on the agenda, but technically I could handle those and he would handle the other.
Or you could just get, I'm assuming that one's gonna take the entire night.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
could just have that one
ideally,
day.
correct. Ideally, it would be just that application. But sometimes we have, depending on when things are, because you have once something's filed, you have to have a hearing within a certain period of
Right.
time. So I didn't want to say we could definitely do that. It's cleaner and easier if we do it that way and we just have a big one on the agenda instead of
Yeah.
multiple.
I mean,
Uh,
I just think that's the only one we're gonna have that night.
That would be ideal. That would be ideal. Yeah, but I spoke with Russ. And he can handle, and again, very, very competent guy.
We need to make sure that our alternate shows up.
Yes, and I was about to make another comment on that with regards to, and I'll put it in an email too. If everybody please make an effort to get here by say 7:20, or if you're logging in remotely to log in at 7:20. And if you're not going to show, even if you're an alternate, not going to show, that you send an email to everybody, or at a bare minimum to Jim and myself, so that we know that you're not coming. As between last meeting and this meeting, it's.
And also copy Jamie Reamer on that because she'll usually reach out to one of the alternates to see who's available. Either she or I would.
What's the board comprised of right now? Just four of us?
And
And
an
two alternates?
Nope, there's 5 members. Mike McVan
Oh,
is not here tonight.
Mike hasn't been.
And they have appointed 2 members, James Brand, who was at the last meeting. We were able to get him the last
minute.
And they also just appointed another alternate, and they will be. So that's why we need to know in advance if you can't make it. Even if it's like 15 minutes in advance, like, something came up, let me know, because they could always reach out to say, can you hurry up and log on, and hopefully get an affirmative answer.
All right, so do we need to do the Russ Sacco appointment now, or is that something where we need to wait until the next meeting to?
Do it either, as long as it's before you can appoint. I don't think we have is the application in?
Yes, the application has been submitted.
Because so if we have a number, you can appoint in specifically for application 23.
We can do it. We'll do this at the next meeting. then.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know the
Make it
number.
easier.
Yeah,
Like at
so
the
that's,
next meeting.
so that's fine. But yeah, you would appoint and then tie it to a specific application.
Write the language, Joe. Just write it down as it should be said.
So yeah, you can do that. The March 21st meeting, you can do that.
Okay, is there any other new business?
Nope.
Nobody wants to take Nathan up on his amendment off?
So he's got a good idea, but I don't like the fact that there's already a limit on what the impervious is. So to change that, I disagree with completely. I do like the overcompensating for detention because the town does have clay soils everywhere and it's a nightmare sometimes. But then Jim enjoys working with engineering and getting all that straightened out for us.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the meeting for February 21st is adjourned.